republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, good morning, everybody, and welcome. All commissioners are present. Item number 4.
I'll make a motion to recess the commissioners' meeting and open the salary board meeting.
I'll second that.
Motion by Commissioner Warren, second by Commissioner Arnold to recess commissioners meeting, open salary board. All in favor?
Aye.
Scoop right on time.
You know, I missed it. I got a magazine and a newspaper go out this morning.
All right, salary board. All are present. Item number 3.
I'll make a motion to approve item number 3 on salary board agenda.
I'll second that.
Motion by Treasurer Miller, second by Commissioner Arnold.
Are you here, Jesse?
Yes.
I think it needs to be.
To approve the minutes of the March 8, 2017 salary board, and I request with the addition of Treasurer Miller being added as being present. And you're both okay with that change in the motion?
For March 8th minutes?
Yeah.
It says on there. Salary board?
Oh,
All right, hon.
Back
oh,
page.
that's the wrong one. I'm not that's commissioners, that's right. All right, you're right.
Good.
All right.
Okay, sorry.
Okay, motion by Treasurer Miller, second by Commissioner Arnold. Questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Item 4.
I'll make a motion to approve item number 4 as listed on our agenda.
I'll second that.
Motion by Commissioner Warren, second by Commissioner Arnold, approve item 4 on the agenda to create the chief clerk / director of public safety to salary $62,500, minimum 40 hours per week, increase to $67,500 following successful completion of 6-month probation. Questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Item 5.
Make a motion to eliminate the position of chief clerk effective March 22nd.
I'll second that.
Motion by Commissioner Warren, second by Commissioner Arnold to approve item 5 to eliminate the position of chief clerk from the Commissioners Department effective March 22nd. Questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Item 6.
I'll make a motion to eliminate the position of director of public safety effective March 22nd.
I'll second that.
Motion by Commissioner Warren, second by Commissioner Arnold to approve item 6 to eliminate the position of public safety, director of public safety from the Department of Public Safety effective March 22nd. Questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Item 7.
I'll make a motion to create a temporary part-time position of emergency management operation and training officer at a salary of $18,720 per year, minimum 24 hours a week, effective March 22nd.
I'll second that.
Wasn't there an end date that was supposed to be on this when the individual goes full-time?
No, because you couldn't put a person's name in here until you hire them in the salary board.
No, I'm saying, but didn't we have an idea as it was gonna end in? All right, we'll do that in
It's
the
on
next
the
meeting.
commission, it's on the commission.
All right. I'm sorry, who made the motion?
I did. I seconded
All
it.
right. Motion by Commissioner Warren, second by Commissioner Arnold to approve item 7 on the agenda to create a temporary part-time position, emergency operations training officer, $18,720 per year, 24 hours per week. Questions or comments? Yes.
Don't we already have a full-time position
Yeah, but it's not filled. Actually,
Right.
what,
I understand that.
yeah, and what you'll find in the commissioners is the individual that's gonna take the full-time.
Is gonna be part-time
Is
for-
part-time until they're available to go
That's what I
full-time.
kind of gathered from your conversation, but,
Right.
all right.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any public comment on the salary board? Hearing none, item 9.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second that.
Motion by Commissioner Warren, second by Commissioner Arnold to adjourn the
9:04.
salary board and return to the commissioners meeting. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Item number 5.
We reconvened at 9:05.
motion to approve item number 5 on the agenda.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Arnold, second by Commissioner Warren to approve item 5 on the agenda, approve the minutes of the March 8th, 2017 Commissioners meeting. Questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, so carried. Item 6.
Make a motion to approve item number 6 is listed on the agenda.
I'll second that.
Motion by Commissioner Warren, second by Commissioner Arnold, approve item 6 on the agenda, to approve the cash disbursements and electronic payments. Questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
So carried. Item 7.
Make a motion to approve item number 7 is listed on the agenda.
I'll second that.
Motion by Commissioner Warren, second by Commissioner Arnold, approve item 7 on the agenda, ratify and approve the following seminar requests and their payments for seminar requests. Questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Item 8.
Make a motion to approve item number 8 is listed on the agenda.
I'll second that.
Motion by Commissioner Warren, second by Commissioner Arnold, to approve item 8 on the agenda, ratify the hiring of Deanna Lavery of Scott Township to the open temporary part-time position of Emergency Management Operations Training Officer. Questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Number 9.
I'll make a motion to approve item number 9 is listed on our agenda.
I'll second that.
Motion by Commissioner Warren, second by Commissioner Arnold, to approve item 9 on the agenda, with transfer of Stephen Janowski of Montrose from the full-time non-union position of Assistant Director of IT to the open full-time non-union position of IT Director. Questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Item 10.
Make a motion to approve item number 10 is listed on our agenda.
I'll second that.
Motion by Commissioner Warren, second by Commissioner Arnold, to approve item 10 on the agenda, approve the transfer of Rachel Carrico of Montrose from the full-time non-union position of Public Safety Office Manager to the open full-time non-union position of Deputy Chief Clerk, salary of $39,500, 6 months probation. Questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Item 11.
Make a motion to approve item number 11 is listed on our agenda.
I'll second that. Motion by Commissioner Warren, second by Commissioner Arnold, approve item 11 on the agenda, or I'm sorry, Commissioner Hall. To approve the hiring of Stephen Kanoski of Springbrook to the full-time non-union position of Chief Clerk Director of Public Safety. Questions or comments? Yes.
This is a rather involved position. Like, does he have background in public safety and/or, qualifications that
Yes.
would lend to both departments? They're very involved departments.
Yes, he's been a government employee his entire career, and he's also was the fire marshal for the state police for the entire
That's
region.
right, that's why I know that name.
Yeah, so he has a lot of contacts with all the local fire departments and all the emergency management teams. Yes,
So where is this fella from?
Springbrook
Springbrook,
Township,
which is
which I
located
believe that's in Lackawanna County.
in Lackawanna.
All right,
So there's no one for Susquehanna County?
not with these credentials,
Nobody at all in Susquehanna County.
not with these credentials.
Amazing.
If you gotta
What
say
a
something, just
shame.
go ahead and say it. I mean,
Amazing. No, amazing. What a shame, because our community, Susquehanna County,
that's right.
could stand the work,
Well,
They could
we
stand
have probably, I don't remember exactly how many open positions we have right now. We have several open positions, and we are unable to fill a few of them because we cannot get qualified candidates. So, and I'll give you even more data. Mills Pride in Athens, PA, their lowest paying job's $15 an hour. They have 79 open positions and they can't fill them. You can go all through the county. When we have a system where it's easier to be home than it is to work,
Well, this person shouldn't have a hard time coming in at 62,500,
well,
62,000.
and it's a savings to the county too, because this person's doing 2 jobs, so it's about a $50,000 savings to the county.
And what's he do now?
He's the fire marshal for the state police.
That's what he does
Yes.
right now.
Yeah. Any other questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Nay.
Sorry.
Item number 12.
I'll make a motion to approve item number 12 is listed on our agenda.
I'll second that.
Motion by Commissioner Warren, second by Commissioner Arnold, to approve the hiring of April Price of Clifford to the open full-time union position of Conference Officer Court Liaison, $11.48 per hour. Questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Item 13.
Make a motion to approve item number 13 is listed on our agenda.
I'll second that. Motion by Commissioner Warren, second by Commissioner Hall, to approve item 13 on the agenda, approve the appointment of Stephen Kanowski and Rachel Carrico as the Susquehanna County Open Records Officer, effective March 27th. Questions or comments? All in favor? Aye. What?
Aye for Rachel.
Item 14.
I make a motion to approve item number 14 on the agenda.
Second.
Okay, motion by Commissioner Arnold, second by Commissioner Warren, to approve item 14 on the agenda, sign the following purchase service agreements between Susquehanna County Children and Youth and Northampton County Juvenile Justice Center in Easton, for a term of July 1st, 2016 through June 30th, 2017. Questions or comments?
I just want to make a note that I actually like having the agreements done in this form rather than in separate motions. It's just more streamlined. Just a comment.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Item 15.
Make a motion to approve the appointment of Tom Chamberlain of New Milford as Housing Authority Director for a 5-year term, January 1st, 2017 through December 31st, 2021.
I'll second that.
Motion by Commissioner Warren, second by Commissioner Arnold, to approve the appointment of Thomas Chamberlain in Milford as the Housing Authority 5-year term. Questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
So carried. Item 16.
I make a motion to approve item 16 on the agenda.
I'll second that, but I'd like to amend it with a couple of other people that actually work out in the field. Bob Thatcher, Emergency Management Coordinator for the county. Jim Garner or someone from Conservation District, as they work in the field around the whole county. And I believe Betsy said last year we were looking to get a veterinarian. I'd like to, is that still?
Oh, yes. Yeah,
Yeah.
Diane,
So,
you're right.
Okay.
Okay.
And add whoever that is to also, please.
The veterinarian, okay.
So there's 11, and I'd like those 3 names added, and
That'll make 13 then. But we have on there, we have 12 to 15 on there, so 13 is fine.
we have 11, and we just added 3.
1, 2,
How about
3.
somebody from the safety department from the
And
county?
11, 12.
Sean Isby maybe, who's our safety coordinator for the county.
Okay.
Is that,
If he's interested, yeah, that's
Okay.
fine. So do we want to hold this or go put it through and go ahead and put them
You
on?
can put it through. You're fine with the amended motion?
Absolutely.
Okay. Any other questions or comments on the motion or the amendment? All in favor?
Aye.
And then if you, once you approach them, if they don't, then we'll have to see if we can get other people from those departments.
Okay.
Item 17.
make a motion to approve item number 17 is listed on the agenda.
I second that.
Motion by Commissioner Warren, second by Commissioner Arnold, to approve item 17 on the agenda to adopt the proclamation 2017-06 proclaiming the week of April 2nd through the 8th, 2017 as National Crime Victims' Rights Week in Susquehanna County. Questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Make a motion to approve item number 18 is listed on the agenda.
I'll second that.
Motion by Commissioner Warren, second by Commissioner Arnold, to approve item 18 on the agenda to adopt proclamation 2017-07 proclaiming the week of April 9th through the 15th, 2017 as National Public Safety Telecommunications Week. Questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
And 19.
Make a motion to approve item number 19 is listed on the agenda.
I'll second that.
Motion by Commissioner Warren, second by Commissioner Arnold, to adopt resolution 2017-02 designating Robert Thatcher Emergency Management Agency Coordinator as the authorized agent to execute on, for and on behalf of the Susquehanna County plan update for the purpose of obtaining financial assistance for the hazard mitigation grant program. Questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Public comment. Ellen?
I was wondering if you have any information on the transfer station on that Woodward Drive?
The only information I have at this point is that we were in receipt of the request for the permit from DEP, which doesn't really spell anything out in it other than they requested a waste permit. My understanding is the 5th of April at 1 o'clock is the officials meeting at the Bridgewater Township facility. I guess there's nine townships that are invited to that. I don't know why just those 9, why the others aren't, or why those 9 are, but I guess they'll find that out the day that they have that meeting at 1 o'clock. But as far as any other additional information, what they're gonna do, I would suggest that, you know, the easiest thing to do would be to call Mr. Adam Diaz and ask him.
Thank you.
Anything else? Scoop?
It's, the commissioner signed a, can you explain a little the emergency proclamation from last week?
The emergency proclamation, what that does allow us to do, should the state and federal government declare a state of emergency, it puts us in a position to possibly receive funding if we have some type of disaster in the areas that creates property damage or additional manpower requirements for certain groups. To be able to receive funding through those grants. And in order to get that, you have to have that declaration passed.
And can we talk a little bit about the flooding in Halsted?
The flooding in Halsted.
The flooding in Halsted.
I don't know if it really flooded, but
Well, I
it
mean,
was close to a flood.
you had, it was backed up into people's driveways, the
Yeah,
water was rising, so.
Salt Lick Creek, again, as usual. And if you're from this area and you've lived here long enough, you know that it used to flood all the time in the early spring when the ice broke up, but that was back when the airport was there. Since then, we've had 2 floods, which has changed the elevation of the creek, which is not very deep anymore. The second issue is the owners of the trailer park have kind of put a berm of dirt down through to protect the trailers from the water running through them.
I thought berming was not allowed.
I think
I sat through a lot of flood meetings.
Yeah, well, my understanding is that they got the permits through DEP. So, but the result being was there was an ice jam, basically behind the old foundry. And the water started rising. It flooded the ballpark, as if you could have seen if you drove by. Started working on getting close to the houses in that area. I was contacted. I contacted the EMA department. EMA contacted the townships and the boroughs that were responsible. Gave them a day to work on it. They tried to get, actually, I believe it was New Milford Township even went down with their equipment trying to get to it to open it up. They couldn't get to it the first day. My understanding is the second day they were able to break the ice jam up.
I believe Friday they were able to clear a good portion of it, but not
Right.
all of it.
And so then it started to drop, yeah.
It started to drop, the water, I mean, you drive by, the water's still sitting there too,
Right,
so.
well, yeah, it's frozen now.
It's, you know,
So, yeah, so they, you know, everybody responded well. You know, our EMA department, you know, contacted the agencies that are responsible, and they, you know, went down and worked with the groups to try and get it busted up.
but the, you know, I mean, it takes us back to when you say the elevation of the creek has
Mhm.
risen. That takes us back to issues that we've been dealing with now for 11 years.
Exactly.
And the ability, or the inability to fix the creeks. Like, what avenues do we have to pursue
Well, I guess it's not that there's an inability to fix them, there is an ability to fix them. It's just that the parties that are responsible don't wanna pay to get it done. That's the problem.
So where does the responsibility lie? Is that property
Well,
owner,
it
town,
relies
or
on who owns the
township?
creek. So if, you know, if you own the creek, if you're a property owner and the creek runs through your property, you own that part of the creek.
Could I just add that there are available grants and programs through the Conservation District?
Yes, you may.
Thank you.
Anybody got anything else?
Just, I want to follow up with what Stacy was asking about the emergency
Okay.
declaration thing. The governor did not declare a state of emergency for Pennsylvania, did he?
I don't think he did,
declared
no.
emergency preparedness, but not a
Right.
full state of
Right.
emergency.
Right.
How was Susquehanna County directly impacted with snow removal? Did we have the resources to remove the snow from, not specifically, like, I mean, the state took care of their roads, but the townships, the boroughs, they had a lot of snow pile up in back streets and stuff.
Mhm.
Did we have the resources? Did we manage it well?
Well, you know, here's the thing, the first goal is always, whenever you have a major snowfall like that, is at least to get a lane open for emergency services. Some areas did well, some areas did not do so well. I don't know the last time we had a significant snowfall of this accumulation. You know, everybody says 93, you know, but I think it's caught everybody off guard because our snowfalls over the last many years were either non-existent or in small accumulations that they could go deal with and it wasn't a problem. I think that, you know, this snowfall that came this time kind of woke everybody back up to the fact that, you know, they may have gotten, and I don't want to use the word soft, but may have gotten a little lax in realizing, you know, what it takes to move 32 inches of snow or 40 inches of snow in a 24-hour period. So some areas did good. You know, the state, of course, their first concern was 81 and the 2-digit roads, then onto the 3-digit, then onto the 4-digit, and that's usually their protocol. You know, of course, if you live on the 4-digit road and it's a state road, you're waiting some time before, you know, you get plowed out, which is always a huge concern. The townships and boroughs, again, you know, most of them did well. There were a few that struggled, you know, horribly trying to get it done because they didn't have big enough equipment to do what needed to be done, or they waited too long and the snow got too deep and their equipment wasn't big enough to, you know, get it pushed back and do what they needed to do. So hopefully now that we're past this, and hopefully we won't get another one this year, that everyone has, you know, sat down and reviewed the storm and said to themselves, you know, what worked, what didn't work, what do we need to do to better prepare for the future so that, you know, when we're providing our services to the taxpayers, that we're in a position to do the best job that we can. So, you know, I know at the county, our maintenance department, they stayed overnight 2 nights. I mean, I commend them for the hard work that they did. They were at it day and night for 2 days, making sure that the courthouse was cleared and that people could get into it, so.
Now, to follow up with that, because there was no state of emergency declared, there's no funding that comes from somewhere else should the county or any of the boroughs or townships needed additional assistance from outside agencies to help clear their snow. There's no place to get the money for that. They'd have to just foot the bill for that themselves.
Well, there are agencies that do help. We had a phone call from Forest City. You know, they had a problem because of the amount of snow and being a more of a city-type setting with not a lot of places to push it. They called our EMA Public Safety Department and said they needed help. We were able to contact the National Guard. The National Guard went and helped them. The National Guard is a resource that, you know, really doesn't cost us anything for those communities to go help them, so that's a resource we have. Where it would come into a cost structure, and it's like the, you know, PMEN, the FEMA, and everything else that you deal with, there's a cap you have to get over in order to take and start collecting money. You have to get to so many millions of dollars in expenditures before you can start getting that federal and state aid.
You basically have to put yourself in a deep hole before you can ask for it.
Right, right. So when you get to the point that, buildings are collapsing and everything's stuck, everything's broke down, and, there's imminent loss of life possible, that's when you can almost get into the trying to get that additional state funding. But as far as resources, our resources is when people needed help, they would call the Public Safety Department, we'd reach out to the National Guard, and the National Guard would respond.
And the National Guard did respond?
Yeah, the National Guard did respond.
I knew Forest City was buried, I
Yeah.
did know that.
Yeah. Of course,
And-
National Guard had a problem getting out of their place. I guess New Milford Township had to go up and get them dug out so they could get out. So.
Go New Milford Township.
Yes.
Well, when you talk about that, that's one township, if you look at their equipment. That's one township in the last 5 years with the Act 13 money that
They've
has
done a lot with their
purchased a lot of
18
equipment, put themselves in a position where they have the equipment for this type of situation.
Yeah, I live in New Milford Township, and I will say they kept our road open through the whole thing.
Right.
The plow went through regularly, and I live on School Road, but school is not open, so
Right.
it was not optimal to keep that road open. It
Right.
doesn't really go anywhere, but it is a township road,
Right.
and they did keep it open.
And there was, when I checked with other counties, when I checked with Wayne County, they were in a similar situation. And they were struggling even more, and they canceled school for the entire week. And
Blue Ridge opened back up on Friday, didn't they?
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
Go Blue Ridge.
so they,
Go to school.
so yeah, so it's, it's a learning lesson for everybody again.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, like I say, the year before, we had no measurable snow to plow. And it was, we get a dusting and that was it. And the years before that, you get 4 or 5 inches or something like that. We get a few of those. There wasn't anything, they got more snow in Harrisburg than we got up here. So, as the years progress doing that, as equipment gets old and doesn't get replaced, well, why do we need a big, huge snow blower? We don't have big snow anymore, so we don't need a snow blower anymore. We used, years ago, they used to have them. The big plows and stuff, it was, we don't really need to get a big, huge dump truck anymore because we're not really pushing that much snow, so we get a smaller truck and when you look at things too, it's about the experience too. When you go 5 to 7 years with that type of industry, where, people are plowing snow, you start getting, municipal workers and township workers that have never plowed in big snow. So they really don't have the experience, what do I do with, when I'm getting, 2-3
Right.
inches an hour, how do I, and I'm trying to plow, 30, 40 inches of snow. That's why in a lot of cases you see the snow never got plowed back in a lot of places.
Right.
Because that's just basically, the inexperience of not knowing that when you're gonna have a 30-inch snow, the first thing you do is, for the first few hours, you plow it back as far as you can. So as it starts coming, you have a place to push it, so
Right.
you don't start losing your lanes.
So with the exception of Forest City, none of the other municipalities requested any kind of help?
I don't believe so. I'd have to double check, and you can double check with our public safety department, but I think Forest City was the only one that requested.
Would Rachel know that?
Rachel would know, or Mr. Thatcher would know.
Oh, okay. I don't know who's in charge down there anymore.
Could I just comment about the declaration of disaster emergency? Forest City called to get mobile units because the snow was so deep there, and their emergency services couldn't get to people when they got 911 calls. Their 911 calls come in from Wayne County, or go through Wayne County, so, we didn't get them here to know, and, they didn't have four-wheel drive, the police chief didn't.
Right.
So it was mostly mobile units that they were looking for, and we got them. Mr. Thatcher went through the process, contacted the state, got them, but by the time they were confirmed, their emergencies were taken care of. So they canceled them. The other thing is Public Safety Telecommunicators Week. Not only did our maintenance people stay, our director of 911 had people come in, bring clothes, prepare for it. They brought in food. So this is quite timely coming up. I commend them also, besides our maintenance department.
Some of the sheriff's departments stayed on overnight too, didn't they? One of the deputies had said that
I think one of them did.
he planned to stay at the
I
courthouse all
think,
night.
yeah, because I think he felt that if he stayed, at least he knew he could get back tomorrow.
That might have been
Right.
the reason,
And,
but.
and the county actually closed. I mean, in the
Well-
many years I've been doing this, I don't remember the county, the courthouse ever
Well,
closing.
you know, what it
early.
was, a decision was made around 12:15 on the day it was accumulating, because it was coming faster than we projected. You know, the original snowfall amounts, we were looking at 12 to 18, we weren't looking at,
30.
30-some inches of snow, and there's parts of the county that got close to 40. So as it started getting worse, of course, the safety of the people that we had here became an issue, and at first, and when we have a situation like that, everyone's told, listen, it's up to you to make the decision in the morning. If you feel safe that you can get here, then the courthouse is open, come to work. If you don't feel that you can make it to the courthouse, then by all means, you can take benefit time and take the day off. We're not gonna hold that against you. So there was, several people that came to work that day, and it was about 12:15 when we realized it was gonna get a lot worse in the afternoon, and then it was more of a concern for those that were gonna go home. We'd like to get them home before it got dark, so they weren't trying to drive in the dark to get through this. So it was about 12:15 we made a decision, so we closed for like 4 hours. And that is the first time that's happened in I don't know how long, but I will tell you this, because of that action, you'll never ever get me to take and agree to close the courthouse again. We now have grievances filed for people that took benefit time, didn't come to work, and now want to get paid for the entire day. It's the only place I know that I've ever been at where employees think that they should be paid when they can't make it to work. Now, we've allowed them to use their benefit time and personal time, and that's fine. One person was even on vacation, still wants to get paid for a full day. And the answer is no. We'll grieve, they can grieve it, we'll fight it. But, we have a couple departments that think that because there are such prima donnas, that, if we close for 4 hours, they should get paid an 8-hour day for the day if they didn't even bother to even try to come to work. And that's why government is so costly and costs the taxpayers so much money.
Okay.
Let him go, he hasn't had a
Yes,
chance
go
to say
ahead.
anything yet.
There's Jack.
I've been watching the meetings on the internet for
Mhm.
quite a while, and I've been impressed by the teamwork and everything of the commissioners, and of course, even more when I get my tax bill, I've been impressed,
Mhm.
because you guys seem to be doing a bang-up job of, running things without putting up costs and everything. I'm kind of curious, I know that, of course, our taxpayer dollars fund everything, but I'm sure there's gotta be a lot of things that you guys are doing behind the scenes to get money coming into the county to pay for things as well, so that the burden isn't just put upon the taxpayers. I wonder if you could kind of tell us about some of that.
Well, there's lots of things. One of the things that we do is we continue to watch for grants. Grants are big. We have a PCOP, which is part of the CCAP insurance program. They have a $10,000 grant. So, on the scheme of things with a with a budget that's close to $30 million, $10,000 doesn't seem like an awful lot, but, every $10,000 helps. So, that $10,000 helps pay for the new security cameras that we need, because the old ones are old analog and it's great to have them, but you can't see anything on them. So, you work on getting those grants to pay for those things that need to be replaced. You work on grants like, there's, through the AOPC, there's grants that we have for the courts and for the sheriff's department for safety and security. So we have written grants and received funding from a couple times from those. We received by $30,000 on the PCOMs and probably close to $60,000 on with the one we're submitting now, close to $60,000 on the AOPC ones. We also write grants for, the water line like we have going to the jail. That was a big concern. We have one well that's not usable, the other well, we're running on one well, we need to get fresh water. So we put a grant together for that. We were fortunate to receive close to $450,000 for that grant. We helped, and then we also reached out to help other communities too. We put a grant together for $450,000 for Hartford Township for upgrading their sewer programs. We initiated that for them. We did one for close to $500,000 for Bridgewater Township for their sewer program. There's a couple other ones we're working on now for small water grants to help a couple of the other municipalities. Put a grant together for the new 911 center and continuation of government. That's, I think that one was like $4 million. That one's been submitted to Harrisburg. We put a couple other ones together. There's a $2 million grant for infrastructure for economic development. There's another $2 million one for business park to try and get something moving there to bring businesses in. And then there's a grant we're working on for close to $10 million, which is a dark fiber line loop that would go in the county, which would be a private-public partnership to put connectivity through the county and run a dark fiber line. Dark fiber line, in our case, would probably be about 296 pairs of fiber optic lines that would run the main loop, and that would run basically your 2- and 3-digit roads in a loop, and then the providers like NEP and all the other ones that Verizon and the rest of them can hook off that and run to they'd run the last mile, like from that loop to the residents. Part of the problem we have today with the connectivity in the county, there used to be a lot of federal grants for Verizon and Frontier and all those companies to run fiber and try and upgrade their systems. Unfortunately, their last upgrade is still so far behind from where we need to be. It's pathetic. With the video streaming now, you have all these kids gaming and stuff and doing all this video streaming. It eats up a lot of bandwidth in that system. So everybody's system is so slow now that, in certain places like Forest Lake, you can't even get online to pay a bill because it times out before you can get it to go anyplace. So those are some of the grants we do. We have grants for, transportation. We have grants for housing, and a lot of those are passed through. We have grants we get into help pay for victim witness coordinator. We have grants that help pay for the district attorney's office, a couple different ones there also. We have grants that help pay for some of the stuff through the probation department. So yeah, there's a lot of grants out there that we work on.
Get involved in an awful lot more than most people realize. One thing too is, I imagine the three of you are involved in, and have to be with all the things that have to be done, segregation of duties. One of you focuses on one area, one of you focuses on another. And how's that shake out amongst you?
I'm kind of the finance guy. That's, my forte is finance and the ability to manage finances. So that's an area I'm strong in. So the area that I concentrate on is the budgets and the pension and the taxes and the finances. So that's kind of, it's not that it relieves me or anybody from being involved in the other stuff.
Right.
We all have to, make decisions based on, what information we can gather from the other ones and what information is put forward. But, we all have to make decisions on the administrative stuff that has to happen for the county, whether it's joinder issues with mental health, whether it's dealing with Penn State Extension and their programs. We all have to, be a part of that decision.
All I can say is keep up the good work.
Can I comment on that?
Yes.
Being in a joiner with Lackawanna County for our behavioral health, intellectual disability, early intervention programs, we, on an annual basis, give just over $112,000 to Lackawanna County to to distribute the money, they administer the money that comes into Lackawanna, Susquehanna joinder. And that is a very small amount of money to put in to be part of that joinder, given, and we wouldn't be able to have the services we do here because of our population. So being with them has been a huge help. And Area Agency on Aging, we had been, we were saving $22,000 a year because since 1996 or something like that, and we just started saving that last July because being in a joinder with Bradford, Sullivan, Susquehanna, and Tioga, we were writing checks for $22,000, you know, on a, you know, $22,000 split over the 12 months. And I thought it was just, you know, RN and everybody else, every other county was giving the same amount until I questioned it and got on the board, saw the budget, and nobody else wanted to give. So I said Susquehanna County will continue to give if the other 3 counties pay their fair share. And no other county stepped up,
So they're just like,
you know, it's
letting
not,
us
it's
do
not
it.
that we have anything against our seniors. We have jumped in, and when there was no budget, you know, given them a interest-free loan, whatever, which they paid back. And we had our meals go from, they wanted to cut them from 5 days to Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And, you know, we caused a stink about that. You know, we're right there to take care of our seniors. But, you know, if everybody's not giving, we're, you know, when there's cutbacks and they need the money, fine. So it's things like that that help. And taxpayer dollars in our almost 30,000, or yeah,
Millions.
$30 million dollar budget is probably a third, you know, local taxpayer dollars, because all those grants are taxpayer dollars from somewhere. And,
right,
and we get money for emergency management for the coordinator once they're certified. I mean, I think we get 50% of his salary,
Right.
and when he's certified, we get 100%. So, you know, it's things like that, making sure certifications are up to date, that help with our budget.
You know, one of the things when you look at the overall budget, you know, 5 years ago, you know, we had a $13 million red hole in our pension fund.
I remember all the talk about that.
And of course, everybody was concerned, you know, is the pension fund gonna, you know, and basically what I kept telling everybody, if you look at a pension fund that was 47% funded, and because it was a public pension fund or a government pension fund, there wasn't a lot of notifications going out or a lot of broadcast of what was going on. Well, if it had been a private pension fund with a company or corporation on the outside, whenever a pension fund gets to a certain level, they have to send out letters to everybody saying that the fund's in critical status and what their plan is to fix the fund and how to fix it. Of course, being government, they don't do that. You're not required to do that. So that was one of the big concerns when I came in 5 years ago about, you know, we have to fix this bleeding that we've got going on. You know, we've got to stop the bleeding and get this fund whole. You know, as of today, we're 115% funded. We have just shy of $26 million in our pension fund. And the goal was to get it so it would be self-sustaining. And according to the companies that handle the funds for us, according to the, and there's 3 people. We have, you know, the Brinker Capital that does the investment for us. We have Reliance Trust that manages the payments of the pension to the people that are retired. And then we have, and it may sound kind of crazy, the name of the company is Korn Ferry, that is the actuaries that review the accounts and review what the liabilities are to determine, you know, where we stand. So by communicating with the 3 of those, the position we're at today is all of them feel confident that if we have a normal year in the stock and bond market, that our pension fund right now is totally self-sustaining. That we have to put no new money in besides the normal contributions that employees put in and the county puts in. We don't have to put anything extra in anymore.
That's remarkable.
So, you know, that was the goal, was to get it to that level so that we'd never have to worry about it. Because the last thing you want to do is be in a position like the state's in right now, where you suck that pension funds so far dry that you can't put enough money in a year to keep it from continuing backwards. You know, the states, even though they're putting extra money in, the school districts are putting in, the school districts right now put in 32% of the teachers' salaries. They have to put 32% of that into the pension fund on top of what they're paying the teachers to try and stabilize that fund, but it's not stabilized, it's still going down. So, you know, that, you know, when you look at finances, and like I said, that's one of my expertise is the finances, is to make sure you put yourself in a position where 10 years from now, you're not in a position like some of the other counties where now you have to borrow money and bond money to pay your local bills and pay your obligations. And now you're raising taxes to pay for the bonds, and now all of a sudden your bond payments start becoming 80% of your budget instead of being able to use that money just for the operations. So and there are some counties in that predicament.
I don't think we can ignore the fact that Act 13 funds have done a lot to be able to like stabilize the county budget, to like free up money to go into other departments to fund certain things.
Well, you're right. You know, and listen, Act
That allows
13,
more money
Act
to go
13
into
money
pension.
was a godsend to this county, as well as it was to the municipalities that have it. Now, with this plan still of work that we put together to get the pension fund funded and do the things we need to do, absolutely. Would we be doing a renovation project today? Absolutely not. Would we have all brand new furniture in several of the departments? No, we wouldn't. But we would have still had the plan to take and get our pension fund and our obligations paid for and did that. The only thing we're doing now by using the Act 13 money is allowing us to save our local taxpayers from the burden of future taxes that they would have to endure for rebuilding this facility or upgrading the facility, because that would be the condition you'd fall into. We would not have been in a position to upgrade the facility. It would have stayed the way it was. So another 5 to 10 years down the road, it would have been, okay, are we gonna bulldoze the building or are we gonna rebuild it? And either way, it's gonna cost you probably $20 million to do that. And to do a $20 million renovation when you don't have any money, you have to borrow it. And if you go out and borrow it, you bond it for 30 years. If you bond it for 30 years, you're gonna pay back close to $40 million. So that's $40 million the taxpayers would have to come up with. And one mill is $848,000 right now. So you can imagine how much taxes that would cost the taxpayer over the next 30 years. It would put people in a position where they could not afford to live here. So yeah, it's a godsend. But as far as getting our pension fund funded, that was gonna happen whether we got that money or not. That plan was in place.
Can I change tax for 1 second?
Yes.
A couple of years ago, within the past couple of years, Farm Bureau, I think, initiated meetings with PennDOT.
Absolutely.
And then they kind of fell off. Like, we got Billy right behind me, right?
All right.
I think Billy was, I think
You're
Billy
saying the wrong
was,
thing, I'll pat
I
you on
think
the
Billy
head.
was so overjoyed that we finally got some work done, they gave up.
Is there a way that, I mean, I think we were able to, like, through sitting in on some of those meetings, the county, Farm Bureau, businesses, citizens were able to pinpoint a lot of issues and problems in the town that, in the county that PennDOT may not have noticed or overlooked. Is there a way, or are there any plans to?
Well, we do have CAB meetings each year.
Right.
And
Too many.
CAB meetings are open to everybody, and that's an opportunity to hear what PennDOT's doing and what's going on. I have transportation meetings. I sit on the transportation committee. So I have transportation meetings that I sit on, that I go to. I just put out on my Facebook page, and I'm gonna get a link to the web page. The 2017, I gave both the commissioners a copy of the maps. The 2017 projected work for Susquehanna County. If you look at my Facebook page, I broke it down by township so that you wouldn't have to go and try and figure out what's getting done in each area. So that work is there. I will tell you that, you know, this year's work, there's a lot of roads that are gonna get chip and stone. They're gonna start doing that again to seal up the ones that they've already blacktopped and done. Roads like 858, going up to to the state line. They're gonna work on that, get that chipped in stone, get that cleaned up. There's a lot of slides this year that are getting worked on again.
Right.
You got the Liberty Park one, you've got several over in Susquehanna still. You got one down on 167 below Brooklyn that they're gonna work on. There's I think there's 17 bridges that there's gonna be work done on.
Part of the rapid bridge replacement.
Well, not all are rapid. I think there's 5 or 7 that are rapid bridge. And I should have, I just talked to the Walsh on that, the contractors that do the rapid bridge, and I should have an update next week as to which bridges are gonna be closed, which ones are gonna be open, so that people can prepare for that. Now, the only problem with that is, like last year, they were supposed to do a lot of bridges. They pushed 4 or 5 bridges out, they never got
Correct.
done, like the ones over by
Route 11.
Route 11, and the one on the old Route 11 there, the one that's down, that has the stop sign. They pushed those out because they had issues with the right-of-ways and trying to get things done there.
Quaker Lake is supposed to go this year,
Right.
it's supposed to go now.
Right. So that'll be there. Farm Bureau does have its local committee that it has, that Billy chairs. I think, unfortunately, Alton was on that, and Alton's passed away. Of course, we'll all miss Alton. He was a great man. We spent a lot of time with him between Farm Bureau, and I spent many years with him on the school board. So, he sorely will be missed for all his, and he had a lot of contributions to the community and to everybody. But Farm Bureau does have its local action team, and I know Billy and Farm Bureau is looking to get something started up on that again. So I'm sure Billy and I will both present that again to him as to maybe that's something that we should do is see if we can still have a yearly meeting with PennDOT locally so that we can ask questions and have a dialogue.
I'd just like to say, PennDOT did improve the roads considerably the last couple of years. Of course, the gas tax went up considerably, so we know where the money's coming from.
That money's going to the
But
state
while
police.
the roads have improved, the winter maintenance has gotten worse. Example 29 down to Brookdale is plowed by New York State because PennDOT doesn't get there in time. And New York State has to come down there to turn around, so they have to plow the road. And of course, when we have a storm like last week, the township has to plow all the state roads so they can get to the township roads. And I'm sure many other townships have that problem. I know Ag Day from the state line down to Montrose, 29 wasn't touched, it was a sheet of ice. South of there wasn't any snow to speak of, so there wasn't a problem, but they just plain ignore it because who knows why. So there's still problems with PennDOT.
Well, listen, there will always be problems. It's a balancing act of budget, money availability, and being able to do things. And hopefully our legislators, we've been speaking loud and clear to them about the issue with the problem with the state police funding still being part of the maintenance budget, and that they have to address the issue. You either have to separate them or you either have to fund both of them so they can survive. So I know the legislators are working on that now to address that, and there is additional money that has gone into maintenance for this upcoming year. And that's the first time, actually, their maintenance budget's been the same for the last, I think, 5 years. It has not increased the amount of money they had to use. So it's been tough for them. You gotta remember, the price of fuel goes up, wages go up, everything goes up. Well, they still only have the same amount of dollars to spend, so they have to, that's why the crews come off the second and third shift earlier than they ever have before, because the money's not there to pay it and keep it going. So I know that, although we want to say it's PennDOT, there's a funding crisis in the state of Pennsylvania, and it affects everything. We have a funding crisis with our children and youth, with those programs, that they are still trying to figure out how to address that and to cover those costs. You gotta remember, every time they come out with a new mandate, in Harrisburg, which they love to do. They came out with a mandate, I think it was a year ago, for our children and youth department, which added probably another 25% to their workload. And there are some counties that had to go out and hire a ton of people just to maintain or to meet those mandates. Now, we've been extremely fortunate. We have supervisors that are working supervisors and a director that's a working director, as well as having those management positions. So we've been able to maintain our numbers, even though the activity's gotten a lot busier. We've been able to maintain those numbers.
We also have a proposal that, it impacts the majority of Susquehanna County municipalities, that the $25 per person charge for municipalities that rely solely on state police coverage.
I thought we already paid for the state police in our taxes.
Well,
One would think that would.
Well, here's
I'm just saying, that proposal
here's-
is out there, and
Right.
it's a revival, it's one that we heard 5 years ago.
I think the numbers came out, and I'm gonna try and quote it, and I'm close. I think the number came out to it'd be like about $700,000 a year for Susquehanna County.
Yes.
Well, okay, so here's the thing. So $700,000 a year for Susquehanna County. What additional coverage are we gonna get in Susquehanna
There's
County for
I
$700,000?
do believe there is no additional coverage.
Right.
Nor no additional
Where do you think that
troopers.
money's gonna go?
Goes to Harrisburg.
Right, and it'll fund for more state police to run the turnpike and run around Philadelphia and Harrisburg. And that's if they can get them. They have a shortage. That's a problem. And, I don't know what they're gonna do. They have a shortage. They don't have enough candidates to cover the potential retirements that are gonna happen. And what's worse that's gonna happen is there's a lot of people that are in command situations, sergeants and corporals, in those positions that are gonna be retiring, and there's nobody with those experiences to step in and take those jobs, because there's so many younger people right now that don't have the experience. So we talk about crises in the world. We went from the mortgage crisis, we're still waiting for the student loan crisis to finally, hit bottom and people wake up to that crisis. But this is gonna be another crisis, and it's gonna be about having the ability to have protection, those people available to take and be in our communities. There's always been this struggle of, in our state, there's a struggle between, the sheriff's departments and the state police and the district attorneys and the legislators as to who should have arrest authority, who should have the right to do it, and who shouldn't. So the sheriff's departments in Pennsylvania are not the same as they are in other states like New York State. They don't have the authorities to do those things. So, but then again, if you gave them those authorities, then the credentials would have to change for the people that they're bringing in. And where are you gonna get those people? And who's gonna pay for those people? So, as a legislator,
Aren't the bulk majority of our sheriff deputies and all the new hires, aren't they all Act 120
the Act
certified?
120, and the Act 120 is a basic, it's like a 101 course. It's not what state police go through. Their
Right.
training and that they go through is a lot more vigorous than what that is. 120 gives you the basics, so you can work for, a local police department or the sheriff's department. But here's the thing, and of course, it's on camera, and I hate to say this, but hopefully the legislators aren't listening to it, but, if I'm a legislator and I wanna be a hero, so I enact a 25, say, oh gee, we gotta do it. And 6 months later, I say, oh gee, I got a better solution to this. Instead of doing that, we'll give up the 25, give you your money back, and we'll just let the local sheriff's departments do it. Well, everybody says, oh great, I get my money back, that's a good idea. Well, what do you think happens when that decision gets made? Well, do you think we have enough sheriff's people in our department to go do that? And enough vehicles? Now, where are we gonna get the money to do that? Now you just shifted it from a state problem back to a local problem again. Just like they did with the pensions for the schools. State screwed it up. They don't wanna take and bite the bullet and say, we gotta put the money in at the state level. We'll dump it back on the local schools. That's why your school taxes go up every year. Because that pension fund goes up every year and they've gotta have the money. I think every one of the schools that I looked at with the new state budget pretty much I think every one of them's going backwards again. So what are they gonna do? I think Blue Ridge has like a $1.3 million gap or something like that in their budget. So it's gonna be a big issue again this year.
I cover several of the school boards, and I think they're all like sitting at the point right now where they're right around the $1 million gap.
Right.
Even Oakley.
Yep.
So.
They'll
you know,
find the money, but they don't.
And here's the deal, the problem we have in Pennsylvania, which is different than other states, is in Pennsylvania, when the public finally said, listen, we have a huge problem with taxes in the state, the public should be more involved in, the taxes and being able to, set the tax rates and things like that. Well, there was a push to take and get the legislators to allow the taxpayers to vote on the school budgets and the tax increases or decreases. So what they did was to try and appease everybody, they said, well, we're not gonna give you that authority as taxpayers. But what we'll do is we'll put an index there that they can only raise them so far each year. And if they go above that, then they have to go to the taxpayers and ask for the increase.
But they can still actually apply for an exception before it ever goes to a taxpayer.
Exactly, there's like 11
And then I've seen
exceptions
the
or
exceptions
12.
granted, so.
Right. So the issue still is there so now what happens if you're a school district, you're sitting there saying, okay, I've got a good year and maybe this year I can balance. But if I can only raise to the index, well, I better raise to the index because next year if I need twice as much and I can't raise enough, I'm gonna be in a jam. So I guess, so that's what they, I'm not saying that's what they do, but, I'm sure that weighs in on a lot of decisions. Anything else?
Can I say one more thing? I just want to say kudos to our emergency management department for what they did also, and activating a partial EOC and all the agencies that showed up for that. We truly appreciate it. And I want to go back to the AAA, the Area Agency on Aging, and the reason that we didn't want to drop to 3 days a week is because of senior safety, a safety check on them on a daily basis. And that's why we wanted to keep 5 days a week.
Now, we'll remind everybody up here on the table is flyers for the upcoming Susquehanna County Tick-Borne Disease Task Force meeting, and also the Susquehanna County Human Resources Resource Day. So those are here. Please take them with you. Let your friends and family know that they're here. With that, I'll ask for a motion to adjourn.
Motion. Second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We are adjourned.
10:02.